This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
She's made up her mind to live pretty smart. Learn to budget responsibly right from the start. She spends a little less and puts more into savings. Keeps her blood pressure low and credit score raises. She's cutting debt right out of her life. She tracks her cash flow on a spreadsheet at night.
Boring money moves make kind of lame songs, but they sound pretty sweet to your wallet. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865.
Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work? This Friday.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome.
Look at that.
Crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2. Rated R. Only in theaters Friday.
That sound is the leaky shower head that came with your place. The one that has you starting every morning with a low-pressure nightmare that's nearly your age. Stop settling for someone else's shower. Consider this your wake-up call to swap it for the relaxing feel of a Moen shower head and see how one easy change changes everything. Water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
Hello, everybody. This is the Tour Coach, and it is Masters Week. My favorite week of the year, as I'm sure it is yours. It's like a holiday. It's like a religious occasion. Unfortunately for me, I'm not coaching and teaching there this year, but if you're sitting down, you're listening to the Tour Coach, you know these are my conversations and my stories and roundtable discussions from my travels and Jackson Court's travels in the world of golf, whether they're teachers, they're players, coaches, fitness experts, whatever it is. It's the people that we meet, we talk to, trust, learn from, work with. All of it, we sit down and we talk and we share it with you to hopefully help give you some enjoyment, give you some inspiration, and also, more than anything, help your game. And so if you've been listening, you know the last several weeks we've been doing a Masters giveaway with our new content going out on Dew Sweeper TV on YouTube. Look, all you got to do is go to YouTube and type in hashtag Dew Sweepers TV, hashtag on our YouTube channel. Join the channel, like it, go to the description of our podcast here, wherever you get your podcast, and subscribe to it and type hashtag Dew Sweeper TV, and you register for a giveaway Monday morning after the Masters. We're going to give away a set of Shrixon irons of your choice. We're going to give away 12 dozen Shrixon balls and a dozen Shrixon gloves to one lucky winner. Great opportunity to get some great Dew Sweeper Shrixon gear. All you got to do is check out our content over on YouTube, and that's Dew Sweeper TV. Our follows are going through the roof. The views and the comments about our content have been overwhelming. So please check out Dew Sweeper TV over on YouTube, and an opportunity to win some great Shrixon gear. Monday after the Masters, going to give away a set of Shrixon irons, 12 dozen Shrixon balls, and a dozen Shrixon gloves for one lucky winner. We'll do that drawing and announce it, so make sure you check it out. Great Masters Week. We're going to have a lot of content coming to you here on the Tour Coach, so make sure you listen, subscribe, and none of this could be remotely possible without our sponsors, and that, of course, is Shrixon Golf, Bushnell Golf, Vineyard Vines, Mitch McConnell and the folks at McConnell Automotive and Buick GMC, and you obviously can't forget Ed Rowan, Taylor Martino and Rowan, and Stokely's Midtown Garden Center. All of that support makes the Dew Sweepers radio show, the Tour Coach, and Dew Sweepers TV all possible. So stay tuned. Enjoy Masters Week. It's first major of the season. I'm ready for it. Are you? All right, so joining me here on the Tour Coach, the last of our Masters Week podcast coming out, Specials Masters Week, is Andy Ogletree, 2020 low amateur at the Masters, one of our good buddies, students, plays out on Live full-time right now. Andy, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. Looking forward to chatting.
Can't help but every time Masters rolls around, of course, when the time we went, it wasn't this time of year. I was thinking about that actually earlier. I was like, 2020 Masters, you had earned your way in from winning the U.S. Amateur the year before. Obviously, that was the one where everything kind of went crazy. The world went crazy because of COVID, so they moved it to the fall, but still an unbelievable experience. Can't have the Masters come on without thinking about the time. I've still got that picture that I think Masters took you and I out on the practice tee, but it's got to bring back a bunch of good memories.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that I might have a chance to get in this year based on the Asian Tour Order of Merit, but unfortunately, Augusta didn't send a special invite, and I don't know whether that had to do anything with Liv or what, but I was a little disappointed in that. I thought there might be a chance that they let the Asian Tour Order of Merit into the tournament, but they have their own way of doing things. They obviously are entitled to having whoever they want in that field. So, but
if I'm not mistaken, the Asian Tour Order of Merit, I'm not saying every year, but I remember as a kid, to me, the Masters always had some foreign players that they let in that, like when I'm a kid, golf wasn't as global. Like you saw players you didn't necessarily know from Asia and different things. So I don't think it's not like that hasn't happened before that they've
definitely done it a lot. I think I watched Fred Ridley's State of the Union, if you will, this morning, and he was saying that there are pathways for Live players to get in. He was looking at a guy like Joaquin Neiman and how they gave him a special invite and stuff like that. He said we always like to give international players invites, whether that be for better TV ratings or more worldwide broadcasts or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I want to get back to the Masters. That's one of my biggest goals. And, it's just such a special tournament. I've been sick the last couple of days, so I've just been watching live from, and I mean, I don't think I've left the couch and listened to everyone, give their opinions on who they think is going to play well and how the course is going to play. And super fascinating. It's such a special tournament because there's so much history, and it's the only major that plays the same venue every year. So there's so many shots from throughout the years, so many different memories, and then I have my own memories around that place as well. So definitely a cool week for me.
Yeah, well, if you picked a week to get sick, it's a pretty good one if you've got to sit on a couch.
Yeah, lucky me.
But it was different that year because it was a little different golf course to prepare for. I've been fortunate to coach there, I think, 3 times, and that was a different one. The golf course, I don't know people going into it, fans necessarily knew how different it was, but that golf course played a lot different in November than it did than it's doing right now. I know they're going to get some weather come through because we just had a whole bunch of it come through Mobile, Alabama. But talk a little bit about how different that golf course played and kind of some of the prep work that we did.
Yeah, I mean, that time of year, I've actually played the golf course in November a few different times, coincidentally, and it's just the grass is a little longer in the fairways. The fairways are a little softer, so you get a lot more mud balls. The golf course plays a little longer, but the greens are softer and a lot more receptive. So I think there's a give and take. I think the course plays longer, but it's a lot easier because you can hold the long irons into the greens and you can hit it into the small sections without the ball releasing as much. So I definitely think November was a different challenge than what they're experiencing now. And I think, something that we talked a lot about when I played in November was the pitch shots into the banks were pretty tough because the banks were super soft, but the greens were super firm. They're not as firm as they normally are. They're not as firm as they are in April, but they're still pretty firm and fast. And we had a hard time hitting shots into the banks because the banks were so soft and the grass was so long on the fringes that it was hard to get the right skip and then get the right spin to stop it on the greens. Whereas in April, you can kind of use those banks and you can use those ridges in the greens to take the speed out of the ball and work it into different parts of the green. So I think, it's just a completely different test. And I'd love to get back and play one in April and get the full experience.
Well, I don't have any doubt that you're going to be there. And I think also that Golf World's got to come together and figure this out at some point. But when you look at you've played Augusta, I know from being at Tech, and you've played it many times, and you've played it, I'm sure you've played it this time of year. When you think about players preparing and getting ready to go to play this week, what are some of the things that, what are some of the shots that are necessary to practice? And as you think about how you're one of the best I've ever seen at thinking and navigating your way around a golf course. I've told you that before. What are some of the keys that you think players have to be able to do to work their way around the golf course, especially if it stays, if the rain isn't too bad and it stays fairly firm and fast?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's going to be a lot of wind, so I think having a penetrating ball flight off the tee and having the ability to work the ball right to left. You play hole 2, for instance, and they moved that tee back another 10 yards this year, so you really have to turn it off that right bunker. And for a right-handed player, it's a pretty tough shot. So having the ability to hit kind of a high draw with enough spin with your driver is something that a lot of guys will be working on this week. I think you'll see a lot of people tinkering with equipment, tinkering with lofts, tinkering with different weightings in their driver to have the ability to work the ball right to left with the correct spin. It's not a shot that a lot of people are comfortable with. Especially with a high spinny driver. It's the way technology's gone these past few years. It's hard to keep enough spin on the driver, and I've actually been working on that in my own game as well, switching over to a ping driver. So I think you'll see some guys tinker with that, and then a lot of people seem to do a few different things with their 60-degree wedge around Augusta, because it seems like the chipping areas get pretty soft and people want to add a little more bounce to their wedges around Augusta. So, I think you see a lot of people just trying to get used to the green speeds, trying to hit a lot of right to left shots with height and spin. And obviously there's so many different pitch shots, and you have to draw pitch shots and hit high cut pitch shots and control your spins, control your trajectories around those greens. So it's definitely one of the most brutal tests in golf. And but if you know how to prepare and know where to miss it around those greens, you can really get around there well. So I think this will be a fun Masters to watch.
It's interesting to me every time I go, because you can, when you look at the leaderboard, and obviously there's past champions that are older that aren't going to play as well, but you see guys that are they're great players shoot big numbers, and you see guys that are great players shoot crazy low numbers in the same rounds. You know what I'm saying? That golf course is gettable a lot of the time if you miss, like you said, if you miss it in the right place, but you can not be crazy far off, miss it in the wrong place, and, disaster's not too terribly far around the corner.
Yeah, no, for sure. You can kind of go through all the holes, and there's actually a really cool diagram that's in the caddy shack or caddy dining, whatever you want to call it. It has all 18 greens, and it has the low point on each green. So it has a dot of where the lowest point on that green is, and that's kind of where the grain all goes to on each green. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion to anyone that's a first timer there would be going in there and checking out the caddy diagram in the caddy house and understanding where the low point is on each green, because if you kind of end up in that area, you always kind of have an uphill putt, and you can always work it to the different pins. So that was a little secret that they let me in on last time I was there.
Little hack there to get to help you around. You obviously, the year you played, the U.S. Amateur Champion plays with the defending Masters champion, and it was Tiger Woods that year. Pretty cool experience. Talk a little bit about playing with Tiger. If you don't mind, share a story. Everybody loves Tiger stories. I mean, hell, nobody's going to be mad at you for telling that.
Man, yeah, it was awesome. We're getting ready to tee off, and you don't know what you're going to say to Tiger. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to avoid him and let him do his thing, right? And he comes over to me on the putting green, and he's like, "Man, let's go do this thing." Might have had a couple extra adjectives in there, but he just basically said, "Let's go do this thing." And I was like, "Man, that's super cool," and got me pumped up. And we actually had to start on hole 10 because there was a rain delay that morning, and being November with the time change and everything. Getting dark so early, we had to do split tees on the first 2 days. So we teed off 10, and we had a rain delay that morning. It basically flooded the golf course, and we're walking down 10 fairway, and as we top the hill, I noticed that Tiger's kind of walking over to me like he's about to say something, and I'm like, "Oh man, what is he about to say?" And he comes over and he's like, "Man, wouldn't it be cool to just get a running start and slide down this hill?" I'm like, "What the hell? What did you just say?" I mean, that was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I didn't know how to respond. I just started laughing, and from then on, I mean, we had a great time and just carried on around the day. But he was asking me like about staying in the crow's nest, and we had a lot of good conversations, and he was super great to me.
I think it seemed to me from just watching, I walked around, and obviously that was a weird year too. I was a patron technically. There weren't any there. I mean, there was nobody around. Yeah. So you almost felt like you were at a practice round with nobody there. And but I think it just seems to me like for all that he is, he understands playing with him is a big deal, and he tries to make an effort to calm you down or help you a little bit in the situation you were, so that you can have the opportunity to play your best at the event as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think it obviously helps him if I'm playing well too. I think positive momentum and energy kind of feeds off the group. So he knew that if I was comfortable, I'd probably play a little better, and he could probably get into his round a little better as well. So. I was super grateful for how he treated me, and I've heard a lot of the same stories. Like when Matt Kuchar played with Tiger at the Masters in '98, and then when Kuch was the defending U.S. Amateur champion, and he treated Kuch the same way, and he was super nice to him even back then. So. Kuch had given me a lot of advice of how to deal with the crowds and how to deal with different things, and it was weird because, like you said, we had basically no crowds. There was the members all had a +1, and then basically just coaches and family members. So there wasn't many people, but all the members that were there were kind of watching our group. I remember we got onto hole 9 tee box one day, and I looked over and to my right, and my dad was standing right, 5 feet from the tee box, and he was walking with Peyton Manning, Roger Goodell, and Kirk Herbstreit. And after the round, I was like, "Man, that was awesome. You were walking with those 3 guys." And my dad said, "Yeah, I was walking with Peyton and these 2 other guys. They were super nice." And I was like, "Dad, that was Roger Goodell and Kirk Herbstreit." He's like, "I don't know who that is, but that's awesome. They were great."
Yeah, that's funny.
So we had some good stories around there. It was fun.
It was kind of a who's who, like with with it only being, I guess, members and +1. Like you actually could see some pretty famous people walking around the golf course, and they were right there, just standing there.
Yeah, just following my group. I mean, it was hilarious. Everyone's standing outside wearing their green jackets, and then they had their mask on and whatever, but you could still kind of tell who people were. And I mean, probably every Fortune 500 CEO in the country was watching our group.
So last question, then I'll let you go. You obviously play in 2 days with Tiger. What did you learn anything watching him play? Like, did you take away anything from the golf aspect of watching how he got around the golf course? Yeah, I mean, he played amazing the first 2 days. I think he shot bogey-free 4 under the first round, and then played solid again the second round. But it was just really cool to watch him kind of plot his way around. You could tell he had a plan for each hole. For different slopes, he would work it up against it. Depending on where the wind's at, he would always kind of fight it up against the wind. I think nowadays you see a lot of younger guys always trying to ride the wind and get the extra 10 to 15 yards or whatever the case may be. But playing with Tiger and watching how much he spins the ball and watching how he uses the ground to get the ball closer to the pins and stuff like that, I think it was really cool for me to see. And I've definitely applied that some in my own game, and I try to work it up against the wind and gain spin as much as possible as well. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, I remember one shot in particular. We were on hole 12, and I watched him pull 9-iron, and the wind's into out of the right, and he hits this kind of steep flighted cut up against the wind and hits it right in the middle of the green. And I was like, I just need to hit a hard 9. Tiger kind of worked it up against the wind, and that ball that he plays is so spinny that his ball got hit way more by the wind. And I hit the same shot. I thought I hit, a low flighted cut. Thought I had a lot of spin, and it flew into the back bunker, and I make double. So you can't really play the way he does. He's got a different way of doing things, and he's unique in the fact that he plays such a spinny ball and works it up against the wind as much as he does. But definitely learned a lot from him, and it was cool to watch him kind of plot his way around Augusta. I don't think anyone knows the golf course as well as he does. No, I don't think so. But it's interesting because so many people, everybody's going for low spin. They talk about it, and there's maybe the greatest that's ever played, and he's got a ball that's spinnier than everybody's out there.
Yeah, literally.
Crazy. Andy, awesome stuff. Thanks for taking the time. I know off week is there's lots of stuff you can be doing, so appreciate you taking time. Hope you get feeling better, buddy, and I'll look forward to hanging out with you soon after this next little run of tournaments.
You got it.
Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero. And look, recently, several teachers I know and several players have had some scares with skin cancer. In fact, I recently went and saw a dermatologist here in town, and I had a couple things frozen off, eyelid, my face, my earlobe, and not getting any younger. And I know it's getting to that time of the season where it's cooler, but look, being in the sun is a real deal, and I've not been very good, to be totally honest, my whole career at using it at all because I didn't like how greasy it was, how hard it was to get off your hands, how it clogged up my pores. And then I found this sunscreen, Visor Skincare. It's clear, it goes on, it doesn't dry you out, it isn't greasy, it's like you didn't put anything on it. By far, it's the best sunscreen I've ever used. Without a doubt, is the easiest to use. And we've got a discount code for all of you. All you have to do is go to visorskincare.com, is use our code word DEWSWEEPER. visorskincare.com, code word DEWSWEEPER. I just want to remind everybody something that I forgot. Recently, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I went out. We went to a wedding, and afterwards with some friends, we were like, hey, where's a great place to go? I'll be honest, in my travels and day-to-day, sometimes I get caught up and I forget some of the great places right around the corner. But I got to remind you about the Icebox Bar on 755 Monroe Street. I was blown away by just the whole vibe, the atmosphere, and with the Velvet Pig, the food in the back room, and the big screen TVs up front. We sat there and watched some playoff games. I was blown away by the atmosphere, the vibe, and just how cool it was to have the Icebox Bar right here near the Dew Sweepers downtown, near where I live. You're looking for a great place to go sit, watch some games, hang out, play some pool, you got to go to the Icebox Bar right there on Monroe Street. there's a good chance you'll see all of us hanging out. But do yourself a favor, go visit the Icebox. It's one of the best places out there.